This is TWiT.
How about this? Companies are starting to use AI to monitor your mood during sales calls. This is a new kind of AI software that detects emotion. Companies like Unifor and Sybil, good name, are building products that use AI. Zoom wants to do this as well. They've announced their plans to do this in the future to analyze the voice, people's moods, their body language during a call to know if, are they interested? Are they going to buy? Are they not going to buy? Sitting alongside someone's image on a camera during a virtual meeting, the Q for Sales application visualizes emotion through a fluctuating gauge you can see, indicating detected levels of sentiment and engagement, kind of like those Q dials TV companies use to measure your popularity, based on the system's combined interpretation of their satisfaction, happiness, engagement, surprise, anger, disgust, fear, or sadness. Now, the good news is you have to turn on this video call as being recorded. So that would be a protection against that. What do you think? This is like a lie detector built into software, Harry?
I mean, at first blush, it feels like it should pretty much be like a no-go zone.
Yeah.
Particularly if this is something that the people doing the selling can do to us, and we have no ability to do the same thing to see how they're feeling and if we might be able to cut a deal or whatever. I think that particularly if it's being done without us knowing specifically that this is being done rather than just we're being recorded, it sounds terrible. The Zoom one sounds slightly less bad because it's not real time. They're taking video afterwards and in aggregate analyzing it, which I also don't like, but it's not quite as terrifying.
It integrates into Salesforce. You're going to have new Salesforce
I just think of
settings.
I think about something like buying a car where you know all along, forever when people have been trying to sell you a car, they're trying to read you and trying to figure out.
Well, that's the problem. You can't read that body language on a Zoom call very well.
Like, is this person going to walk if I don't give them a better price? The idea they might use technology to gauge that is awful.
A product from Cogito, this is from an article in Protocol, uses in-call voice analysis to analyze the emotional state of callers or service reps during customer service calls. An alert, as an example shown, says, frustration detected, show empathy.
The hard part is when people do this kind of like sales by numbers, it usually comes across because the people who use it are usually people who are not very empathetic, so they're not very good at it. So that's why you're turning on the autopilot, is because you don't know how to do it.
If they were good,
yourself.
They wouldn't need it. Yeah,
exactly.
We already have all these people who are, when you call a service provider, they spend too much time telling you how much they care about your problem and how invested they are in solving it for you.
Just solve it, please.
Which has nothing to do with them actually solving it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Let's add this to podcasting, though, Brian. Wouldn't that be useful if you had a little button? Boredom detected. Show empathy.
Well, there's a lot of areas in my life when people not caring what I say or what I'm talking about. I'd like to know that. But you can always, any system like this, they already have that for, the calls to customer service, because dropping F-bombs and things like that, or saying manager, like, they already have the escalation stuff in terms of like, just looking.
Does that work
words.
if you go manager? I saw a video.
It's worked a couple times for me.
It works. You use
I usually say representative. I usually just go, I pick it up as soon as I hear a computer. I'm like, representative. Just keep saying it until someone shows up.
Push 0 until something happens. Operator. All right.
I mean, the thing is that we've been doing this I know for the last 20 years, we've had eye tracking, which you do eye tracking against random samples.
Yeah.
And we did some 10 years ago, and it was you think you know what you're doing, and then you do eye tracking, and it just devastated us. Like, it was like all of the information that we thought we had. Like, for instance, if you're in a presentation with someone, we did this with folks watching a stream. We were doing live streaming tests. We found out that if we talk for more than 5 to 6 minutes straight as a sales call, they stop actively listening. Like, they're just they're doing something else. And if we put a slide up, this is the worst one. If you put a slide up, you have 60 to 90 seconds before they stop listening to you.
Wow.
And it's like, and every time I see people putting up presentation slides, I'm we have all this data that we generated from it, and we just go, oh, they're not going to. And I noticed myself doing it. Someone puts up a slide in a presentation for more than 60 to 90 seconds. I'm checking my email. I'm looking at other things. And I didn't think about it until I did that. And I realized I do that in person too. I mean, like if I'm at a seminar, if you put the slide up too long, I'll start doing other things. But it was really interesting. That data was super valuable. And we did that all through the aughts, with ads, print ads, websites, the design of websites. We would look at, you get 200 random samples in there, and you have random people, and it turns out the lower brain does a lot of things really fast. You could put an ad at a certain place in a page and no one would even see it. And so, that you just learn where, if there's certain colors and certain things, the brain, the eyes are going to go where they're going to go a certain way, and very few people will vary from that. And so, so it was used in web design, ad design, video ad design. There's a lot of, eye tracking is a real thing, and that not as a certain person, because it turns out you don't need to. The eye tracking is pretty, certain designs and colors and objects will take the lower brain and just have it look at things, and so you just got to figure out what that is.
So you're gaming it. That's what you're doing. You're gaming the eye tracking. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Oh, look at what I want you to look at. Absolutely. Yeah. And, filmmakers have been doing that for a century.
Yeah,
I'm going to take this stuff out of focus.
Yeah.
Like when I worked in film, we would take objects out of the background to make sure that you were always watching.
Yeah.
Or put them back in because we want you to look over there. Yeah. But, but before it was all guessing, and then it became in like the early 2000s, it became like an application that would do it. And now it used to be a piece of hardware we used to use for that, and then it just became, now you can get it, with a webcam.